Hi, everybody. How are you doing after the just full moon that we had? I would like to talk about the current energies. If you have felt very tired the last week and very exhausted, maybe even for the last couple of weeks, you need to know that we are going currently through a huge purge of energies that are not serving us anymore and that belong to the old paradigm. So we may not even be consciously aware of what's going on, because also our body structure is changing, our DNA is changing as more light is coming onto this plane, and basically we are ascending. And personally, as we can see always as a reflection in our outer world, we're going through a huge purification of people or emotions, patterns, belief system about ourselves, limitations that we have adapted, and everything basically that prevents us from seeing and realizing and embodying our full power, and to be able to live our highest potential in alignment with our heart, our higher selves, and our highest life mission or soul path that we have come here to fulfill or to walk. And so as we letting go of the density of those feelings, because the feelings that kind of keep us holding or keep us little or hold us back in order to really shine and be truly who we are feel like there are very dense energies. So as we loosen up that density, our body also recalibrates. So it's a huge calibration of our body structure, of our mental rewiring, our subconscious purge of things that we might not even be aware of. We may feel that there is some anxiety, extreme fatigue, lots of nausea. I, for example, felt a lot of nausea in the last week, as we all going through this purification in different levels. There can be also anger that surfaces, emotions that you may not have been even aware or really in touch before, because you may have suppressed it. So let's say, for example, anger, it's an emotion that a lot of people feel. We often feel it's a bad emotion to feel, but to realize also it's your power, right? Once you can transform it and recalibrate it into the aspect that serves you. But so we suppress a lot of anger, during our life, on situation that we feel we can't get upset, or we can't show our anger, or we don't even know how to express it because it's not something we learn. So as this now really pushes us to basically let go of all that and purify, this comes up, and it can come up in a very in almost like a wave that is very overwhelming. So it's important to acknowledge all these emotions, acknowledge all the feelings that you feel, acknowledge also like the rest that you may need, or the different ways of eating, that you need to eat something. For example, it can also be that the body needs different nutrition, different fuel. So really to accept that, and also to know all these emotions and maybe belief systems and people that kind of have done their cycle and are ready now to be released, have served you. So I feel it's always good to know that we need to embrace those emotions. We need to embrace these emotions, and we need to honor these emotions, because whatever we have adapted somehow served our own soul journey to develop. Important not to judge or to feel ashamed even about it, or to even suppress them even more, because it's really the time where things want to come up, and we can see that again as a reflection on in our outer world. as I said many times, the outer world is a reflection of what's going on with each of us personally on some level, and then of course on to human consciousness. So important to meet the things, and for most of all yourself, with compassion and love, and find ways and outlets to deal with these emotions. I love to go to nature for doing that, or move it through your physical body. You may want to just put on some music and dance it through your body so it can release safely and you can ground it, which is very important, so it doesn't go up into your head and makes you spinning or even anxious and very imbalanced, because you may start to think about and wanting to analyze what this is all about. Whatever you need to know consciously about, you will get flashes of insights about the anger or the emotion and what's their essence and what's the nature of it and why it's still there. But there's also a lot of purification right now that you don't necessarily need to know very consciously about where it stems from, because often all these things there have been accumulated over our lives. So we don't need to go back into every situation to know why I feel so angry right now or why I feel so sad right now. More important is to know that it can be healed by moving it through the body, by a human vessel, to be really human and to just feel those emotions and release them in a safe way. And again, that can be in nature. It's really good to move them through your body, through any kind of movement. This can be yoga, it can be running for some people, it can be walking, it can be swimming, it can be dancing. I really feel the dancing is amazing because it really brings you into this lower chakras to really move it through your feet and through your, into the earth and grounds you. So these coming weeks, they're going to be very fiery and very intense energetically also. Not that it was already intense, but it's gonna increase. Not to be scared of that, but just to know that self-nurturing is self-care is the most important word for you in these coming weeks, to be really looking at your needs and how your needs can be met. And that can be you need more rest, you need more alone time, but also maybe you need more time with people to just have fun and be just a human and have, joy and see the beauty that is always around us. It's never going to be taken away. It really depends where we focus on. And that's where we focus on. It's going to basically manifest, and that's what's going to show up, and it's what's going to be highlighted in our lives. Maybe you need someone that helps you to move through energies, to move through emotions, and maybe even memories that may come up all of a sudden that you completely have forgotten about and that may be very traumatic. It can be time with animals, it can be time with nature, whatever. It may be more yoga or more meditation or more breathing exercises that really rebalances and recalibrates your nervous system to come into a state of calmness, centeredness, and most of all into your heart. Also, do not overanalyze things right now. Just really be within yourself as much as you can. Do what you need to do in order to be able to embrace and honor the emotions. Also take time off of what's happening around you, because of course it's always a reflection, but there's also a lot of other people that are involved of what's going on worldwide. So sometimes as an empath especially, and as a very intuitive person, you want to step back and kind of shield yourself a little bit from the outside energies to not also carry that, because you will have enough time or enough to do with your own purification so that you really can ascend to this new paradigm, which is a much lighter frequency serving the highest good of all, which of course is going to be a journey. But we really, especially the light workers and the starseeds, that most of all of you that are going to watch this video, are really needing to now needing to really be now into the coming into their heart and really stepping into the power to be able eventually in the next few years to hold the light for themselves, for yourself, and for humanity of what we're gonna experience. And saying all this, most important is to really remain in your heart and in your trust that even though it seems everything is going crazy, that we are going through a recalibration to a purification. And it's really like, you know, when there's a beautiful ocean and there's sunlight coming into the ocean, you see all the sand that is kind of whirling around. So it's like more light comes in as we are ascending. So all the sand or the non-light gets highlighted. But it always has been there. It's just that we are much more conscious about it now. And whatever we see and whatever we're gonna be witnessing in the next 2 to 3, 4 years, we need to learn to meet with compassion and love. That's the most important, because even the sand or the non-light has its job to maybe awaken others. Everything has its plan. So in the end, again, as crucial as it might feel sometimes, but it's all in divine alignment, and it needed to be there for some reason, for a bigger picture that we may not always being able to perceive with our minds. And as more as we can remain centered, remain in our hearts, remain in compassion and love, as more things can transform and be recalibrated and transformed and transmuted into a neutral way, and coming back into the aspects of that is serving the highest good. Because again, also every aspect that we call darkness has its light aspect. So without anger, let's say if there is love, there is hate. If there wouldn't be hate, we couldn't be aware of love. If there is darkness, we couldn't be aware of the light. So it's one, really. It all goes in each other, but obviously for the human mind, it's a separation. So it's important to all acknowledge it as a divine essence. We all are divine beings and divine essence, but we choose to live different aspects of that. And also a lot of people that are living maybe the aspects that not serving the highest good of all, they may also be really in their caught in their mind, completely disconnected from their bodies. Not to excuse things, but to realize that sometimes we're doing all things that are not meant, even with a bad intention. Or you don't even think about it because everybody around is doing the same thing. So important to remember that, and learn to be compassionate with yourself, to loving you, to really appreciate all that you feel, especially right now in the coming weeks, and to be able to also meet your outside world with the same qualities of love from your heart. Good. If you have any questions, please comment, and I just want to send you lots and lots of love and big hugs and lots of support in this coming time. Bye.